Candace, that was awesome. Always a great intro, get us balanced and centered, and we can throw the microphone around and anyway. Sorry, I'm a little loopy today, but when am I not loopy, really? Let's be honest, right? All right, good morning and welcome to Unity at Chattanooga. My name is Eric Miller. I have the privilege of serving on your board of trustees as your treasurer, and I just want to thank you all for joining us in person today, this beautiful Saturday morning. We are grateful for those of you who are also watching us online via Facebook. Welcome. Thank you for inviting us into your homes. Be sure to like us, give us a little shout out, and share your comments if you have any comments on the screen. We hope that you will share today's powerful message with anyone who you think could benefit from it. Because that's part of our, that's part of our messaging, right? And people are like, "How come you're always so calm? You're so centered." And well, let me tell you, so it's your opportunity. Do we have any newcomers in the audience today? Let's get May and Donna a welcome packet over here. Anybody else? Well, while he's bringing you the welcome pack, Unity of Chattanooga welcome packet. Let's just rub our hands together and welcome them like we do. Get our energy going. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. All right. And I mean, we talk about this a lot, but the Christ in you, that idea really refers to that spark of divinity that's in all of us. And it goes to what Amanda was talking about last week about we're all mystics deep at heart. We're on this journey to discover, and that's kind of a mystical endeavor, a mystical journey. And so that spark of divinity that is already within us from the second we were born is that centeredness and that Christ and that pure energy that we embody as children of God, right? So that's where we're at. Unity at Chattanooga is part of a Unity Worldwide Ministries, I can't read, a movement that started out as a positive, practical approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. So we honor the universal truths in all religions, we respect each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And because we know that each person comes to Unity at a different place in their journey, we invite you to use the language that resonates best with you. Whether you like to say God, the universe, Spirit, Yahweh, whatever, it's all the same thing. Divine truth, love, there's lots of phrases we can think of when we try to describe that infinite goodness. We believe that this divine energy is all the same and a benevolent expression of goodness, order, abundance, and love in the world. Whether you have a strong spiritual foundation or just at the beginning of your spiritual journey, Unity offers spiritual insights and guidance for all people that emphasizes personal growth, living consciously, and making a positive difference in the world. So if you're comfortable, now's the time in our service where we stand up and greet each other. Find someone to give a fist bump to if people are being socially distant. Share a namaste. Me again. All right, I am very excited today. We have a very special guest speaker with us, May McCarthy. She's a best-selling author, a business coach, a philanthropist, and spiritual advisor who has been featured on local, national, international media across the board, CBS, ABC. Laura discovered her in 2017 on PBS. You were doing your interview and workshop in 2017. She brought that, we were living in Las Vegas at the time. She brought that back to Las Vegas, and I became hooked in 2018. And you came to Vegas once and for CSL. Yeah, well, twice. Oh, okay. Because I had painted stores. I wanted to be there. Anyway, yes, and the Unity too. You guys, you're about to discover why her two books, The Path to Wealth and The Gratitude Formula, are just two of the many reasons why May is a highly sought after public speaker, not just for businesses, but across the Unity, New Thought, CSL universe. We've seen her speak at Unity of Marin outside of San Francisco, came to Las Vegas, and then the workshop at Unity Village in January of 2020. May and Don kind of became our pandemic buddies because the shutdown happened pretty much after that workshop, and we had a monthly Sangha. So we just started doing our monthly Sangha. We would meet online, and it was wonderful. It was just expansive. And even though we've taken her workshop a couple times in the seminar and going to the retreat, we get something out of it every time because there's so much value and content in what she has to teach. Now, as you could probably tell by looking at her, she was born in Hawaii. And she's the youngest of 10 children. So not surprisingly, growing up in such in the shadow, really, probably, right, of 9 older siblings, she really developed her ability in sales, negotiating, decision-making, motivational skills, right? You got to motivate those older brothers and sisters. Yeah. And then just the organizational skills that she's famous for today. So since 1982, she has practiced, she has used practical and spiritual tools to start and grow many profitable companies in a variety of industries, some as large as $100 million in annual revenue. She has learned through her successes, her mistakes, and extreme challenges the importance of effective planning in advance to succeed in both business and in life. She uses real-world examples to illustrate the value of creating specific goals and focusing on desired outcomes, whether they are financial, health-related, or interpersonal. She is here today because she is passionate about sharing simple success strategies that make life and work more enjoyable, more joyful, and prosperous for everyone. Inc. magazine calls her Path to Wealth process a simple morning routine to prime your brain for success. I love that, to kind of train our brain for success. That's just so powerful. I can personally attest to the truth of that statement. One of the reasons why Laura and I keep on reading and rereading May's books and taking her workshops is because they help us eliminate blocks that hold us back. They help us change our limiting beliefs, and they help us implement a simple practice to achieve more of the goals that we desire. May is going to share with you the importance of connecting with and trusting our own intuition. So by helping others get clear about their goals, she helps people live their lives with a greater level of understanding, one that allows all of us to achieve goals that we may have once thought were impossible. She travels the world with purpose. I love that. You travel the world with purpose to help people create lives that they love with greater prosperity and freedom. So let's all welcome May McCarthy to the stage.
Can I take this off?
Yes, you
Oh, thank you. Because you're all too far away. I'm so happy to be here. That, I must say, it was one of the most thorough introductions I have ever had, and I thank you for that. It was just great. Before we get started today, could I just see, with a show of hands, how many of you would like to have perfect health in pain-free bodies that easily move through life. Every cell operating in the perfection of God's design. Yeah? Okay. Would anybody like to have harmonious relationships with family, friends, communities, our world? Yeah? Okay. And is there anyone that would like to have the financial freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with all of the supply necessary? Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I was in the right place. You know, when I graduated from high school, my mother, who is a devout Catholic, who had actually converted from being Seventh-day Adventist, she gave me this little tiny metaphysical book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. It was published in 1925 and written by a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn. So I took that book off with me to college, and I'll be honest with you, I thought I had a miracle-making formula that none of my other friends had. I was able to grow a business with 250 employees while going to school full-time and graduating with honors in 3 years. I had a secret formula on how to use my words, thoughts, and emotions to get anything I wanted. And I was able to use that in business and life throughout my career. But, you know, 18 years old versus 47 years old, you spiritually mature over time, right? You have lots of learning experiences that people that are not as enlightened as us might call mistakes. But for us, they're just learning experiences, right? So I found myself in 2005 at a spiritual center, a Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle. And by that time, I was on my maybe 6th business that I was growing. And the spiritual leadership asked me what I was doing to be so successful. And I was a little concerned with that question. I said, well, I'm doing what you're teaching, is that not right? And they said, no, you're misunderstanding us. We want to know what are you doing, you know, as part of your spiritual practice, because we don't have anyone in our organization that has ever tithed as much as you have. Now, I'm a side note here, I am a believer in tithing. It is one of the greatest prosperity tools ever, but I'm sure you'll have another speaker to go over that, and you can certainly learn something there, and lots of great books as well. But I said, oh, okay, so you want to know what my spiritual practice is. So I described for them a very simple process that I use every single day. And the reason I came up with this process is because I'm what you would call a self-proclaimed efficiency expert. And all that means is that I hate to waste time. I really do. And I've had this knack of being able to take complicated ideas and boil them down into really easy to understand and implement processes. I've trained hundreds of employees, customer service people, executives that have worked for my companies and for other companies. Just because I can take all these complicated ideas and make them really simple to understand and implement. And so I did the same thing with my spiritual practice. We learn and we get to try on lots of different spiritual practices in Unity, don't we? I mean, we're learning, constantly learning and growing all the time. And so I did the same thing over many, many years of being exposed to so many different spiritual sages. I took little bits and pieces from different teachers and boiled it all down into a very simple and easy to implement daily practice. So I was asked by the spiritual leadership, would you be willing to teach a workshop? And so I did, and another, and another, and another. And after about the 500th person had gone through my workshops with good success, I was asked to write a book. And I'm happy to say that that book came out, and lots of other teaching materials that have allowed people all over the world to teach this same simple process. I'm really, really grateful for that. I just got a call from a woman in Barcelona that's beginning to teach it. And I'm going to South Africa next month, and they're teaching it there. So it's just fascinating to me. This is not my stuff. This is God's stuff. This is Spirit's stuff. And Spirit has just happened to choose me as one of its many, many vehicles, as all of you are, to go ahead and share this kind of information that helps elevate prosperity and freedom for all. So I wrote those books, and I'm confident that the daily practice has really helped me in my life in terms of successes. But it also is something that can be used in all areas of our lives. My topic today is partnering with the Chief Spiritual Officer for success and freedom. You're probably wondering, what in the world is a Chief Spiritual Officer, right? Well, for me, it's that characteristic of spirit that helps me through my intuition, through messages from all of you and the world, signs, different ways that spirit speaks to me. I choose to refer to that characteristic of spirit as my Chief Spiritual Officer. That is not saying that I believe that there's any separation between us and God. We are all part of one. I believe that. But we do have different names for different characteristics of God, right? We call it spirit, universal power, love, truth, divine intelligence, divine mind. And so I chose to name that source of intuition, that divine intelligence characteristic of spirit, my Chief Spiritual Officer. And as a CEO of companies, I place the CSO at the top of my organizational chart. Can you imagine what my employees said? Who's the CSO? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Do we ever get to meet them? And I said, look, what I want you to understand is that the CSO is a principle. It's a principle, and it's the reason that we are going to be a miracle-making company. We are a little startup competing with Fortune 20 companies. And we are going to be even more successful than they are in our particular space. And I said, what I want you to do is if you ever have a problem with a customer, you have an issue that you can't figure out, maybe the software is not working a particular way, I want you to describe, stop for a moment, and think about what the perfect outcome would be. And just start being grateful for that. I'm so grateful I have a happy customer. I'm so grateful that I have a solution for this problem. I'm so grateful that we're able to help save lives by making sure medications get to where they need to go. Whatever it is, so grateful that I'm getting home in the middle of this snowstorm. So whatever it is that you want, start being grateful for it in advance. And if you get like an intuitive hit to take a step or do something, then just do it. See what happens. See what happens. Well, sure enough, I got phone calls, emails, text messages from my employees saying, oh my God, I can't believe this is working. All of this is happening, and we became market share leader in our category. And what that means is we sold more than anybody else in our particular category while competing with all these giant companies. And I'm confident that success is due to us relying on this characteristic of spirit that gives us messaging. But not only has the CSO been helpful to me in business, but the CSO also saved my life. In 1994, I got this picture of my sister's face in my mind's eye. Did anybody ever have that? You just get a thought or a strong idea about someone? So I did. I got a strong idea, and I've been practicing this a while, so I knew that meant I needed to contact my sister. I don't know why, I just know that I need to. So I contacted her after a business meeting. I stopped by her office, and she was so happy to see me. She had a computer problem that I could fix for free. And as I'm sitting there at her computer terminal with my legs crossed, and I've got my nylons on and my cute little suit, she said, what is that? And she pointed to the outside of my right leg. It was a very tiny, tiny little spot. And I told her it was a freckle. As you heard in the introduction, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and I'm fair. So I have a lot of freckles. And I told her that's what it was. She said that she didn't feel that it was a freckle. And she wanted me to make an appointment with her dermatologist to have it looked at. Well, all of a sudden, my brain is going like this, right? You can't possibly make an appointment to go see a doctor. First of all, it's nothing. It's never grown. It's always been the same size. You have this appointment, you've got to fly here, you've got to do this. You don't have time to make an appointment to go see a doctor. Anybody ever have that happen? Yeah, so my brain's doing this. And all of a sudden, I was just about to tell her, don't worry about it, I'm fine, it hasn't grown. My gut hurt. Anybody ever have that happen? Your gut just hurts? Well, that's another way that Spirit speaks to me. And so I knew, okay, fine, I'll make the appointment. I was at the doctor's appointment, and he looked at my leg, and he said he didn't think that it was anything. It was too small. It really was a teeny tiny dot. And I was just about to heed his advice when he said I could just go home and don't worry about it. You know, come back in a year, we'll watch it, see if anything happens. And I was just about to go ahead and take his advice and go, and my gut hurt again. So I said, Doctor, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful. My dad was a surgeon. He told me that doctors are always right. But I need you to cut that off and have it diagnosed. Well, he was able to get one stitch in. It was that small. I came back a week later to a diagnosis of malignant melanoma, Clark's level 3. Clark's level 4, forget it. You know, you're gone. I mean, it's everywhere with you. Clark's level 3. So the CSO through intuition, through messages from other people, saved my life. How many of you have read stories about people using the power of Spirit to heal? Right? We have. I mean, I can know for all of you that you are whole, healthy, and complete, with every cell in your body operating in the perfection of God's design. You all can know that for each other, right? We have a ton of confidence in the ability to use the power of prayer and the power of Spirit to heal. Charles Fillmore, oh my gosh, I love his and Myrtle's stories. Charles Fillmore would say an affirmation 2,000 times a day. 2,000 times a day he was using the power of Spirit to heal himself. We have the ability to use power. But why don't we use this same power in other areas of our lives with as much confidence, with our relationships, with everything that's going on in the world, with our finances, with being able to do what we absolutely love and being rewarded financially to do it? Why aren't we using that same level of confidence? Well, I think it's because most of society, we don't teach that. And thank God there are unity churches and other New Thought centers that are teaching this. But in most of society, if we have a problem or a question about anything, what do? Yeah, we Google it, right? Yeah, we Google it. And we gather all this information, and then we talk to you and say, what do you have to say about this? And what do you think I should do? And we think about every single possible step that we can take, right? No, we go one step further. And we think about every possible outcome that could come from every possible step that we could take. And if we don't like any of those possibilities, what do?
Start over.
Nothing. We do nothing. Right? We aren't allowed to do that anymore. You know, Albert Einstein actually coined this perfectly. He said that we have a rational mind that's a faithful servant. It'll do whatever we tell it to do, right? And we have a intuitive mind that's a sacred gift. But somehow in our society, we've decided to honor the servant instead of the gift. So what I'm here to do today is to help you to remember what you already know. And that is that the intuitive mind is a gift. that we can access that divine intelligence. We can enable intuition and our subconscious to both work together to help us to achieve the outcomes that we would like in all areas of our lives. The name of my book is called The Path to Wealth, but the definition of wealth for me is to be whole, healthy, and complete, lacking nothing in every area of your life. Not just your finances, every area. Your relationships, your use of your skills and talents in living your purpose, your finances for sure, your spiritual connection, your recreation, all areas of your life, all right? So I have a handout that each of you should have gotten. Does everybody have one? If you don't, raise your hand. Does everybody, if you don't have one, can you share with your neighbor? And there are just 3 simple points that I want you to remember. Let me know when y'all are set here. Well, while you're doing that, I want you to know that there are a lot of other really successful people that do rely on intuition as a tool for their success. Bill Gates said often you have to rely on intuition. And Steve Jobs said you actually had to have courage to follow your heart and your intuition. And Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful women of our time, she said that she has listened to that still small voice of intuition her whole life. And the only times that she's ever made a mistake, when she didn't listen, right? So if all these people have been using, including Dr. Wayne Dyer, Steven Spielberg, and so many others have been relying on intuition as a tool for their success, that gives us proof that we can too. So there are 3 points I want to make regarding this relationship with your CSO. The first is to recognize that intuition, which is intelligence from God, wants to help you. Wants to help you achieve your desires. They wouldn't be desires for you unless they were meant to be achieved. And to keep you safe. Wants to protect you as well. That's why we'll get those gut instincts sometimes to prevent us from going somewhere. So if that's true, and Spirit wants to help us, we need to do our part in order to help Spirit help us. And one of the things that we have to do is we actually have to have some goals for it to work on, okay? And they have to be worded in an affirmative way so that intuition can be enabled to show up. For instance, how many of you have ever said, oh, hold on. How many of you have heard someone else say, I want to lose 10 pounds? Yeah? Okay. Or I want to get out of debt. Anybody? Okay. Well, think about that goal for a minute. If the goal is, I want to get out of debt, I want to lose 10 pounds, then the goal is to be wanting, right? Aren't they already wanting? Haven't they already achieved that goal? Yeah. So we have to shift our words a little bit so that we're describing what the outcome would be if we actually were 10 pounds lighter or we were out of debt. So we might say something like, I'm so grateful that I am physically fit, trim, toned, energetic, in a healed body that easily moves through life. And I would add, and I'm eternally youthful and increasingly more beautiful. That's my goal. But you see the difference? So you're being grateful for the outcome in advance, all right? And then Spirit can give you, through other people and through your own intuition, things that you can do to enable you to make that statement true. The second point is to commit to partner with your source of intuition, with your CSO, with Spirit, with divine intelligence. And recognize that you both have roles and responsibilities that you follow. How many of you have ever worked for a living? All right, so if you're a subject matter expert or you're really great at what you do, would you ever go to another part of the company where you don't really know what those people do and just push somebody aside and start trying to do their job? No, of course you wouldn't. So why do we keep trying to do God's job? Your job is figure out what it is that you want. Describe it as though it's already complete with gratitude. All right? God's job is to create the path for you to get there and to give you one step at a time. In a nutshell, you're doing the what that you want, and God is doing the how and giving you directions and steps to take. Like seeing that picture of my sister's face in my mind's eye, right? Or feeling that gut instinct to tell the doctor what to do, right? I didn't know what goal was being worked on when I got that picture of my sister's face, all right? It could have been that she had a new book for me to read, which would have helped with my goal on recreation. It could have been that she wanted to go to lunch, which would have helped me with my goal for harmonious relationships. You just don't know, right? You just get a lead and you take a step, or you ask for another lead. You ask for another sign. God, I don't know. Spirit, I don't know. CSO, I don't know if this is from you. If it is, give me another lead. Give me another sign. Give me another message. What we're not allowed to do anymore is to do nothing. And this is the really hard part, because our rational mind is going to continuously try and talk us out of taking a step. Let me give you an example. In the height of growing my businesses, I was traveling about 200,000 miles a year. And I have a routine, pretty much the same routine that we did yesterday, right, Laura?
Right.
I get off the plane, I get my ride to my hotel, drop everything off, and then go to a grocery store that's close by to pick up protein shakes and water. She's laughing because that's exactly what we did yesterday. And I pick up water and protein shakes that I need for my stay, all right? So I'm in the car in Cleveland, outside my hotel, getting ready to go to the grocery store that I know is 5 minutes away. I've been to Cleveland lots of times. And as I'm sitting in the car getting ready to go, I get this idea of a grocery store that I know is 15 minutes away. That doesn't make any sense, and here comes my rational mind to tell me so. May. Don't even think about it. You're not going across Cleveland at 9 o'clock at night to go to a grocery store when there's a perfectly good grocery store close by. Young lady, your appointment is at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. You're going to be way too tired if you don't get a good night's sleep. You want to make a good impression tomorrow, so just go to the closest grocery store, all right? Can anybody identify with that? Right. So that's my rational mind that Albert Einstein was talking about. So I figuratively stomped my foot and said, hey, CSO, God, if that message is from you, give me another lead. Well, that's my invitation for my intuitive mind, that still small voice, to chime in. And mine did. And it said, well, it's true, May. It's 9 o'clock at night here, but you're from Seattle. It's only 6 o'clock in the evening there. It's too early for you to go to sleep anyway. And who knows, maybe everything you want will be on sale. Just make the drive. So I did. As I'm walking into the grocery store, there's a man walking out who I recognized. I met him 6 months before at a trade show, and he represented a very large potential customer. He was not returning any of my phone calls or emails for an appointment. And here we are, face to face. So we strike up this conversation. He asks me about, the growth of our company and the customers I'm in town to see, and what other customers we've been able to help. And he says, right before we're finished, he hands me his business card and he says, call my office tomorrow, let's get you in while you're in town to make a presentation to us. Well, I had a goal I was writing about for a minimum or more of $400,000 in a particular period of time for our business to grow to the next level. And I went to the appointment, that led to another appointment and another appointment, and a contract worth
400,000?
over $400,000 in the time frame. Now, many of you, if you've gone to business school or you've been in business, nowhere in any of those textbooks do they say, okay, drive across town at 9 o'clock at night to a grocery store. No. See, spirit works beyond our rational mind. That's why we have some faith in those kinds of stories that part seas, that have food coming miraculously from heaven. You all have seen and heard and read about miracles. We're supposed to live those kinds of life, that kind of life all the time. We're supposed to have so many miracles happening in our life all the time through our reliance on spirit that miracles just become typicals. All right? That's the way we're supposed to live. So the final point is that you have to meet regularly with your source of intuition, with your CSO, with spirit. You have to meet regularly. This relationship is pretty much the same as you would have with another human being. The way that you get to know each other is by meeting regularly together, by being together. So this morning practice that I teach, which we'll be doing this afternoon in the workshop, everybody gets a 28-page workbook. Actually, it's 29 pages. I added a little. It's a lot of fun. It's very interactive. But this 7-step process is really fun to do. And so we get a chance to know each other. Have any of you ever heard the phone ring and without looking at caller ID, you just already know who it is? Yeah. You probably have a relationship with that person, right? You probably have proven that we're all part of one. Well, the same thing will happen as you meet with your source of intuition. And you'll also get some additional benefits as well. How many of you have a daily spiritual practice? Do you remember what your life was like when you didn't? Emotional roller coaster rides were mine. I had all sorts of stuff. I'd do my spiritual practice, everything would be nice and calm and wonderful, and then I'd get lazy and I'd stop doing it. And then all sorts of chaos would happen. I'd get sued by a Fortune 20 company, or the cops would show up to arrest my lead developer, or all sorts of stuff. If you've read my book, you've read these stories. But, and then, oh my God, I've got to power pray again. I've got to get all my family and friends. Everybody's praying. It was exhausting. It was exhausting. And now with just a daily practice that's really easy, I don't have those big emotional roller coaster rides. Don't get me wrong. I still have stuff that shows up. Stuff that I really, really would prefer that it not show up. But that's life, right? But I don't have to freak out because I can just use my practice and the tools that unity and spirit are teaching me to guide me and direct me. So you've got to meet on a regular basis. And my daily practice that I teach about, which we're going to do in the workshop, is just one of thousands. And sometimes it's just nice to be reminded, to help you remember what you already know. So we'll have a lot of fun. So, God, universal power, CSO, loving spirit, wants to help you to achieve whatever you desire, require, and more. And wants to help keep you safe as well. But in order to do so, it needs to work through you and through each other in order to get those messages. And there's one prayer that was written by Ernest Holmes, which I think really describes this partnership that I'm referring to perfectly. And I've got it listed there on your sheet. It's called the closing prayer. And if we could just all read this together, I would be grateful for your participation. All right. I know that I am in partnership with the infinite. I identify myself with this partnership knowing that it always leads to success. I accept that the action of infinite intelligence is back of everything. It is always manifesting itself, and it now does so through the thought pattern of success I am establishing for myself. Conditions and situations about me now start to correspond to my new ideas about them. The invisible presence and power indwelling and surrounding me, which is forever making manifest my thought, now creates for me the success which I have identified my thought. May you be blessed. May you be prospered. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be filled with joy. Thank you so much for having me here today. Okay, it goes this way. Stay.
I'm grateful for the things you have done. I'm grateful for the victories won. I could go on and on about the words because I'm grateful just to thank you, God, flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. Grateful, 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 gratefulness is flowing from my heart. Grateful, 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 grateful. It's flowing from my flowing from my heart. Are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. Let's come to the offering. Are we going to do the offering?
Thank you, Landis.
I appreciate that. On cue, right? Well, good morning. Now's the time in our service that we take the opportunity to give back. You know, God says to give with a happy heart, right? You guys have read that? So why can't we give begrudgingly? Or why can't we just give our obligatory tithe? Why, as long as we give, why does it really matter? Well, I'll tell you. Because when we give with a happy heart, when we give with that attitude of gratitude, and when we're excited about it, that's what draws the abundance back to us. And that's how it works. So let's say our prayers. Divine love flowing through me blesses all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive. You guys are doing great. And I receive in abundance. Over, you guys want to do another round? Father, we just thank you for each and every giver. We thank you for this abundance. Father, we just ask that you would bless it. Touch each and every heart here. Abundance, love, and wealth. In Jesus' name.
Thanks, Kelly. That was awesome. I want to do the same thing. You know, it's like we don't come here just to repeat words, just automatons. You know, we're not robots. Yeah, well, I mean, just, you know, when you got to struggle with it, I don't know, we pay more attention to the words, I think, when you think about it. Okay, May, thank you very much for that wonderful and inspiring talk today. Awesome. And thanks to everybody behind the scenes, Landis Batts, our beautiful and amazing music director, and Steve Hastings running our sound, and everybody that helped with the food setup, and Keith and Kelly, and I know Steve helped. You guys are all, it's a community. So as May mentioned, following the service, we're going to be having a little salad bar out there, and at 1 o'clock. I know you wanted to start at 12:30, but
whatever time you want is fine with me.
Okay. She's going to be presenting her workshop called Partnering with Your Chief Spiritual Officer for Success and Freedom. And to show you a variety of practical and spiritual techniques to achieve more of your desires and goals to live your best life. Okay. This is a really beautiful, I think, tribute that you got from the spiritual director of the Creative Living Fellowship in Phoenix. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read it. Our spiritual community was extremely blessed to have May McCarthy with us. In the workshop, she presented solid spiritual principles wrapped in a most delightful and engaging package. Weeks after her visit with us, I am hearing congregants talk about the beautiful demonstrations that are occurring now that they are having their daily meetings with our CSO. Remember all those times we raised our hands in agreement with what she was saying? It's going to happen tomorrow and the next day and next week and next month if you keep it up, right? So anybody that hasn't signed up for the workshop is $25. It will start at 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see Penny out there if you haven't signed up yet. Also, be sure to mark your calendars for our annual meeting. Our upcoming annual meeting is in 2 weeks on February 17th. There are currently 2 vacant positions on our board of trustees, so we're going to be taking a vote on a couple of nominees. This is your chance to share your wisdom and your voice in helping to design the future of Unity at Chattanooga. We have so much momentum. We're going. We just need some guardrails. We need people that want to help us with that. so we can expand our lane. We can expand our lane. And next week we will be welcoming back Reverend Reginald Howard from Atlanta. His talk is going to be entitled "The Center of God's Love." And since we are all made in the spiritual image and likeness of love, this is your invitation to choose love, because love has chosen you. So, we did have one more announcement. I'm going to invite the board to come up and, right, we're doing this?
We're going to introduce our new member.
Oh, okay. You want to do that?
We can go into our.
Okay, yeah, we do have a new member with us. I mean, many of you have already met Gary and Dawn. They've been coming to the service pretty regularly since November. Dawn can't be with us today because she's working, but I know she's here in spirit, and I just want to welcome you guys. You guys have been great. I love you already.
And I'm honored to serve as the president of Unity of Chattanooga's Board of Trustees. With me is our Vice President, Kelly Thomas, Secretary Laura Noe. Thompson.
I answered just about
Kelly,
everything.
Amanda, Kelly.
You're not making this easy. And our treasurer, Eric Miller. On January 25th, the board was very surprised to receive an email from our interim minister, Reverend Doug Word. The letter stated his desire to resign from his position immediately.
Wow.
Unity of Chattanooga, thanks to all of your love and support, has come back from the ashes since the COVID shutdown. Doug played a big role in this by generously giving his time and energy to lead our church and to lead our Sunday services and online. We are forever grateful to Doug and claim the highest and the best for him, and sincerely hope that he continues to be a part of our family here at Unity of Chattanooga. We are here to inform you and to assure you that your board has been working diligently to make sure there are no disruptions in service. We have created a smooth and exciting transition plan, which we will share at the church's the upcoming annual meeting on February 17th. We realize that times of change can sometimes bring confusion, and we realize that this is normal. But we can assure you that Reverend Doug is physically healthy right now, so that should answer one big question. And two, we want to be clear, though, this was Doug's choice, and not a decision suggested or insinuated by our Board of Trustees. Thank you for allowing us to serve, and please continue to pray for Reverend Doug and each other as we work to ensure a bright, exciting, and solid future for Unity of Chattanooga. Please join us in the peace song.
Let this be my joy. God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.